Hi guys, this is Natasha, aka Natty Willie, and welcome to another episode of TV Talk with Natasha and Kimberly. I am again Natasha, and say hello, Kimberly.
Hello.
And we have some special guests. We have Christopher back with us again. Say hi.
Hello.
And we have Antonio, who also does blogs for us on the Nerd Element. Say hi, Antonio.
What's up, guys?
And we are going to be talking about the awesome season, awesome and sad season of Teen Wolf. We're catching up on the last 3 episodes, and then we'll review the season as a whole, because, gosh darn it, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the season. So, the last episode that we kind of stopped at was the episode The Void. We didn't get a chance to really review it. And then last week's episode, and then this past Monday's episode, which was the season finale. And can we have a moment of silence for the cast that has passed on Teen Wolf? That still hurt. It still hurts. It still hurts, man.
Bitter.
Alright, so let's talk about The Void, because Styles threw up bandages and came out of the floor. And it even scared Dean and Peter.
How does he even know how to play that game is what I want to know. I mean, how many of you know how to play that game?
I have never even heard of the game until now.
You've never heard of Go?
No. Well, I've heard of it, but
I've heard of Chinese checkers. That's all I've heard.
Do you know how to play Go?
I do not. I've seen people play it, though, when I was in Japan, though.
Oh, okay. You cheated, so whatever.
And maybe I have seen people play the game. I just didn't know what it was.
He was in Japan. He's cheating.
And we had Styles stab himself. No, evil Styles stab himself, cut himself open, and flies popped out. And they flew into Derek's open wound, mind you. Poor Ethan, he practically drank the daggone fly. And Aiden got it in his ear.
And then you have Isaac, and his went into his IV.
Yes, in a hospital.
Flivey.
Talk about sanitary.
Look, you need
sanitary issues at the hospital.
You need to pay attention to what you put into your mouth. I would have never swallowed a fly. Ever.
Really?
Ew.
I mean, Ethan was kind of distracted with Danny. I mean, Danny is a distraction, let's be for real. But
no. I would never swallow a fly.
I'm surprised that Aiden didn't feel the fly go into his ear.
Ew.
Or like hear it at all. I mean, you have werewolf hearing. You should be able to hear everything.
Yeah, I wasn't understanding that.
So gross.
And so craziness was ensuing because the Nagitsune loves to create strife and chaos. In fact, in the beginning of the episode, Sheriff Stilinski and Allison, Derek and Daddy Argent, and they were trying to confront Styles, and poor Sheriff Stilinski, he just wanted his son back. And then it became very confusing, and everyone was arguing, and Styles is like, shoot me, and Allison's like, oh my gosh, this is what he wants. And then he disappears, because he's like, well, the One are after me, so you need to protect me.
You know what? Scott's a bad alpha. I don't understand why Lydia has to remind him, like, shouldn't you, I don't know.
You mean Scott?
Didn't I say Scott?
No, you said Styles, I thought.
No, she said Scott.
Oh, she did say Scott? I'm sorry, I'm out of it, alright.
No, I just think, why does he have to be reminded by Lydia what to do?
Because Lydia's a smart one.
I know, but he's an alpha. She knows more than he does.
Well, let's be for real. He has been an alpha on instinct. Derek has tried to teach him stuff, but has he really had time to absorb all of that information?
But she's not even a wolf. And she knows what to do. And he can't.
They just happen to figure it out because both of them were kind of at a loss at first when they first went into the same room from last season that Styles, Allison, and Scott went into to face the Nematon to save their parents, or do something with the Nematon to save their parents, and just trying to get Scott's attention or Styles' attention because he was absorbed in the game against the Nagitsune. So Lydia happened to think of it, and Scott did it.
Yeah, I don't know. And he can't fight, and I'm like, Scott, please.
Oh yeah, in the beginning of that episode, Styles kicked Derek's butt. And that's probably the only time that Styles will ever kick Derek's butt.
Skinny, defenseless Styles.
Yeah, exactly, because Derek's like, why didn't Nagitsune choose Styles? He's all weak and not smart. I'm like, really? Styles is really smart. What are you talking about? But, yeah, how many fights has Derek won? Let's be for real.
I know, but he's still stronger than Scott. Scott's just like, even though, I mean, I don't know.
When they were fighting that beta guy who was like super huge.
Yeah, right. I was like, that's crazy. Like, this isn't gonna end well. I don't know. But I know it's developmental. But he's like, and now I don't want to jump ahead, but he's gonna tutor somebody else. He needs tutoring.
Yeah, he needs to tutor his own daggone self before he be tutoring somebody else. But yeah, so that was, and Peter, dropped by. He had his own reasons for helping them out. He wanted to find out the name of his daughter, and so Lydia told him. And I felt like, now that I think about it, now that I've rewatched at least the last few episodes, it seemed like they were hinting at what was to come with Allison, at least what happened to Allison in the next episode, Insatiable. But it was still sad. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know. You know how I feel about Isaac, so I got excited because he kept getting slashed, and I was like, that's going to be the end of Isaac, and I don't have to deal with it anymore. I just do not. I don't know why, but I don't like Isaac. Like, I just don't.
Like, you would not have been crying if it was Isaac that was...
I would just been like, well, whatever, and then when she was saying goodbye, when she was having that conversation with her dad, I'm like, this is foreshadowing if I've ever seen it. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And I held on to hope when Isaac started getting his butt kicked, and I'm like, oh, maybe not. And then I'm like, oh dear.
But then again, I thought it was Daddy Argent that was going to bite the dust. Only just because of, how she was talking, like just in case something happens, I love you. But at the same time, it was referring to her. So I just feel bad for Daddy Argent. He's the only one in their family left. Oh, you know what? Wait, never mind. No.
We'll get there.
Wait,
we'll get there.
We'll get there, yeah. But
you guys, how did you feel about Allison being the one?
I completely didn't expect it. Like, I was in the impression that, okay, Isaac's about to die. And then Allison goes like, oh, I'll kill this guy. Oh, now I'm dead. I was just like, what? It was like...
Yeah.
It's funny, he was staring at the screen. He's just like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we found out that there's another Banshee in Beacon Hills, and her name, is it Melinda?
Meredith?
Meredith, thank you. And it was an M.
Is she a Banshee?
She's a Banshee.
Yeah, she's a Banshee.
Is she?
Yeah, she's a Banshee.
Yeah.
She was hearing the screams. She herself was screaming, which is why Brunsky had to try and knock her out. But then she wound up escaping, and she was plucking the strings on the piano. Remember how earlier in the season Lydia was plucking the strings in Styles' room and was able to hear? Yeah, that was very similar. And I thought it was just absolutely adorable that Isaac and Styles was trying to figure out how to handle her, and Meredith's like, Isaac's my type, when Styles was like, oh, she's my girlfriend. No, Bill, you're not my type.
Yeah, she's really blonde. And then and I was like, ugh, God. And that's when I disregarded Meredith. Like, whatever.
I know, and she seems to get a lot of phantom phone calls, because we had that situation again at is it Aiken House?
Echo House.
Echo House. Thank you. I don't know what is wrong with me tonight. I'm just off my game here.
You're not. You know why? Because it's your birthday. You're allowed to.
Oh yeah, that's right. Happy birthday, Natasha.
Thank you. Yeah. Can we go back to Devoy for a second? Because Kara's mom, she confronts Styles, or checks stuff out at Echo House. Styles confronts her, takes her tail, stabs himself with it, drops it, and she didn't have it in the next episode. So should she really have been surprised when Styles had it and broke it, and now the One was on his side? Like, I'm not understanding that. And was she just completely powerless at this point?
I don't understand. Like, I fully expected her to die after it was snapped, because
I was expecting her death all season.
Yeah, I was too.
I'm like, it's just one bad mistake after another. I know her intentions were, good. Like, she made a mistake and she wanted to rectify it, but at the same time, she cost lives by doing that. By being aggressive, she cost lives. She killed Allison, and she also incidentally wound up killing someone else in the season finale.
Well, yeah, she started some stuff and expected some kids to clean it up after her, but, like, a lot of that could have been avoided had she had a conversation with her daughter. I mean, if ever there was, like, a parent-child conversation that needed to be had, that one needed it about 5 years prior. Like, it's just, and then Kara didn't want to listen. Kara was just like, I don't want to hear you. I'm going to go out and do this. And I'm like, Kara, sit down and listen to your mother, And everybody get on the same page, but she was trying to work like the lone horse. Like, I can do that. If they would have worked together, maybe it would have been a different outcome.
Yeah,
it should have been like all cards on the table. And everybody should have known everything. And none of this would have happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And Styles was looking at Melissa a little bit like, I know your secret. I'm like, what secret? Melissa got a secret? Mama McCall got a secret? What's going on with that? But it turned out to be what Daddy McCall did, the reason why he left. And that was revealed in his Sashi Bowl. And he decides to reveal it at the wrong time. Like, dude, we're dealing with stuff. We don't need confession time right now. And Scott's like, you know what? I'm over it. Just, try and have a relationship with me or just go away. Come to graduation and just bounce. I got stuff to do.
Yeah, well, yeah, Scott had more stuff to do, but it was kind of awkward, Like, Allison was dying, and she was all like, I love you, Scott, and Isaac was like, I mean, I went to point at Isaac and laugh, don't get me wrong, but, like, still, it was just kind of like, I'm like, that's kind of awkward.
That was kind of awkward, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm like, oh, she had to get some stuff out because she was dying, but still, like...
Scott was her first love. That wasn't going to change. Although I am kind of glad that they had that conversation in Lydia's car, although that was kind of the awkward place to do it. But anyways, it needed to be said. But it seems like he was himself when they were together, and I'm not understanding how Daddy Argent didn't even hear them.
Look... this, like I said, this is the world.
His emotions.
It was able to lock her. It was able to put her in handcuffs so he could bounce and try and kill the twins. Oh, and Kira and Allison. I wanted to see that more next season, and now I'm not going to be able to see it, and it sucks.
This is the show where teenagers do whatever they want and the parents don't care. Like, seriously, I mean, everybody's sleeping over everybody's house and nobody...
Yeah, Kira was sleeping over at Scott's house. In fact, they better be glad that the window was closed, because otherwise the fly would have gotten into one of them.
I would have been like...
What would have happened if that had happened?
Because their parents are out running around doing stuff, so they're not watching their kids. It's like, don't even get me started about the whole...
Although it seemed like Scott was a little bit more of a gentleman, because they didn't sleep together. They just, well, not literally, if you know what I'm saying, but they kissed. They had their first kiss, which was a long time coming, and then they cuddled.
Well, Isaac's, great.
Isaac didn't have such
I don't like Isaac.
well,
You guys know that? If you didn't know that, I'm just telling you right now.
and then we figure out that Derek, someone was after the twins, and Derek showed Argent who like a shell casing, I guess, of the bullet, and Argent recognized it, and now we know why he recognized it. He's like, could it be? And I'm like, oh crap, are you serious? What? Who's coming back? And that was like the first question. I'm like, who do you know? What's going on?
Derek played crazy well, didn't he? I mean, don't get me wrong, Dylan O'Brien had played crazy to like the T. Like he killed it.
He killed it this season.
But
He's a phenomenal actor. I'm just gonna give him props for all the acting that he did this season.
Yeah.
Well, this part of the season.
even the finale, this is the last episode, the one that happened yesterday, my goodness. Like, I'm just, I don't know. He really showcased his talent.
And
I think Tyler did a good job too. Like Derek looked crazy. Like with the fly in him, Derek was the most crazy. I would think just when he was talking to Arjun. I'm like, ugh.
And I felt it was like really messed up that like the twins got all shot at in the previous last week's episode, and they managed to survive it, but one of them doesn't survive in the season finale. And they get stabbed the same way that Allison gets stabbed. What the heck?
It doesn't make sense, though. Like, it makes sense why Allison died, but I kid you not, Derek's going to be just okay. He's going to be fine. He got shot with a shotgun. Okay, why couldn't the twin heal himself? He got stabbed with a sword and he can't heal? Like, I don't understand that.
Well, if you recall, when the One was, cutting people up, they were dying as well from the poison. There must be some kind of poison, and because of how powerful the Oni were, I think it was more deadly, their cut. So
yeah, but they won. Everybody got healed except for that one.
I don't know. Maybe it was just the timing of it.
Maybe that was just a fatal wound too.
Yeah.
Fatal. I don't know. I just think it was kind of.
I didn't think it was. To be honest, I don't think it made sense either. But
I mean, Isaac got electrocuted. He got electrocuted, mind you, and he was just fine. So I don't know. I didn't like that at all. But then I wasn't expecting that, and I was already miffed about Allison, and then they just went ahead and did that, and I'm like, you know what? Boo on you! I can't stand this show. No, I love it.
Okay. Now the funny thing is, Aiden was a love interest for Lydia because he was trying to win her back. And there are some serious fans that have been clamoring for Lydia and Styles to hook up for the longest time. But now Styles has Malia.
Yep.
And I'm not understanding how she just all of a sudden pops up on the season finale.
Well, she
disappeared. She disappeared. It was the episode Echo House, and now all of a sudden she's reappearing again. Where were you?
Looking for. She's not a good tracker at all, is she? She was looking for Scott, but she went the opposite direction because she doesn't know how to control her powers.
And you know what? I was surprised in last week's episode that she wasn't staying at that coyote cave that Derek and the twins were at after they were injured. After they were injured. Chris, what are your thoughts on that?
Thought she was gonna move back into the cave.
It would surprise me.
Because her dad is the one that put her in that place, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you guys think about Malia? Trace, what do you think about Malia?
Do we have voice?
No,
okay.
I hope we do.
Yeah, gotcha.
Now they got an obstacle. It was Lydia and Aiden all this time, and now he's out of the way. So now our obstacle is Malia to Lydia and Styles.
Well, Peter will kill him. He will.
And where has Peter been? His whole life has always been the alpha, and he just kind of hangs out in the background all season.
Yes, and he doesn't seem Like, he seemed even scared of the Nogitsune, or at least a little bit, leery of it. I would have thought he would have been like, you know what? I'm supposed to be the bad guy on this show. You need to bounce, and I'm going to make sure that you bounce. Like, I was expecting that completely. But you know what? He also found out earlier in the season that he was a daddy. Maybe he just needed time to absorb that information.
I think he's a I don't think he's a coward, but I think he's just like, I'm not going to do more than I have to do, and I don't want to get messed up into this, like, because I'm too perfect to die. So I'm just going to stand back and let other people do the work. And he just seems like he has that mentality. That's why he's kind of like slimy.
He's a puppet master.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that's why the other people were doing his dirty work. That's what that was. Even Scott.
So what about the other bomb they dropped us, guys? At the end of the it was freaky when the Derek was like dreaming and it was like he held up Styles' fingers and there were 6 of them. I seriously had to pause and count. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. 1, 2.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And not only that, like, just the fact that he was talking to Styles in the first place, I'm like, wait, is he really dreaming? Yeah, he must be dreaming if he's talking with Styles of all people. So we did have a little bit of a hysteric moment in the season finale.
And he wasn't really asleep either. Like, maybe his body was just like, you're in a lot of pain. You need to go to your happy place.
Yeah, because he was like in the middle of fighting, and then he like went into that place, and then he came back, and then they dropped the bombshell.
Did you guys forget about that?
4.
Did you? I forgot that because they hadn't mentioned that she-wolf until, and I always thought they were talking about his mom. They hadn't mentioned that in how many episodes?
I thought they were talking before the whole time.
I was expecting her the whole season. Back since the Comic-Con panel when they showed the clip with her in it, I've been waiting on her to show up.
Well, Kate Argent at first was like a ghost that Allison was having visions of. But that should have been a clue, too. I mean, just because she was having visions doesn't mean that there was some truth of maybe the fact that maybe, just maybe, she was alive.
Well, last time we saw somebody showing up in somebody's dreams, that was Peter. And True. That's what I was figuring. She's coming. If he came back starting in dreams, she's coming back starting in dreams.
I mean, she's hosting Wolf Watch, for crying out loud.
I didn't expect it because that is the thing. If you don't show me something for 2 episodes, I've completely forgotten about it. And I completely forgot that Peter and Derek were held up by those people in South America, and they were asking about her. So I completely forgot about the she-wolf.
Well, I didn't even realize Kate was a she-wolf. And now you got to wonder, how the heck did she become a she-wolf? From getting her throat
torn out by Derek.
Yeah.
I thought that just means that you killed her.
No,
because he used
his Turner.
Yeah, because they flashed back about he was talking about the different ways to become a werewolf. There's other ways
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So he mentioned that one with the rainwater too, and I'm like, why mention that? Like, what? That's weird. You drink rainwater out of a paw, like a paw print, and you could turn into a werewolf. That's crazy.
There's many ways.
Eating the wolf's brains.
Yeah.
They brought that one up later on.
Yeah, and is she a wolf? Because she looked like a cat, and her eyes were green.
Were her eyes green?
Yes, they were. I always look at the eyes because I'm like, oh, what color are the eyes? And her eyes were green. I'm like, now what does that mean? They were green. I stopped it.
They explained, I know about blue and red.
No
what
green.
The heck? What the heck is green now? Now they gotta explain the eye color again.
If she's a wolf, but was she a wolf? Her face was like 5 different colors.
It kind of reminded me of Deucalion's makeup.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
True. But now it's like, okay, you shoot up Derek, so now you're hunting your own kind now, just because you turned into one?
She's bitter.
She's bitter, yeah.
I think she's angry, but if she had any real, like she would have done the way of Allison's mother and ended it because that's like against her whole family values right there, but
Well,
she didn't.
You also got to remember Kate Argent was a psychopath.
Yeah, she was.
She was a little cray-cray.
That's why she looks like that, huh?
She was like Granddaddy Argent that just got all kinds of issues. And when are we gonna see him again?
That's what I want to know. You think
Yes.
in the room left
I
him
would
for
be
a season?
interested to see that.
Yeah, like he needs to make some kind of cameo appearance or something. I think they have to bring him in at some point just because we are dealing with Kate. And we've been dealing with that whole family dynamic with the Argents anyway. But I just think it's interesting because I feel like the Nogitsune or Evil Styles kind of took up a lot of time storyline-wise because if you recall, Scott was beginning to deal with his issues, and Allison was also beginning to deal with her issues. But then they kind of like put it aside to deal with rescuing Styles, because Styles was like, I guess, the worst of the three as far as what was going on with him because of what happened with their experience with the Nemeton. So I felt like Allison's story could have wrapped up a little bit better. Again, I think her storyline kind of got pushed aside a little bit. I mean, granted, she was leaving, but at the same time, I don't know.
Yeah, I know, and they never really said whether he closed the door or not. Like, Styles, is his mind still... I mean...
Open? Is it susceptible? I mean, I think, well, with Scott, he's able to turn on and off like his werewolf status. He was able to find his what do you call it?
His anchor.
His anchor. So maybe that was just all he needed to do. But I would have thought that it would have been a little bit more than that. But again, he's still trying to learn how to be a true alpha, an alpha, much less a true alpha, because he seems to have a lot to learn. Again, he's going by instinct and the fact that he's trying to help his friends, so that kind of gives him some kind of motivation, and he seems to not win too many fights. I mean, he's holding his own a little bit, but then at times he's totally out of his depth.
You know, with the whole Kate Argent thing, I wonder if they're going to reintroduce Deucalion, too. Since he did send the one chick to go save Derek and Peter.
Yeah. She seems to have a knack for showing up when people need to get rescued, so
it's gonna be really awkward when Papa Argent sees her, because he's already had his like world kind of ripped apart, and then you've got I feel sorry for her. It hasn't even happened yet, and I'm feeling sorry for it already.
Yeah. I mean, he's just been through a lot this year, and Sheriff Stilinski has also been through a lot this year. I mean, he just saw his son practically go crazy, and is the tumor gone now because of the Nogitsune? So
there was never a tumor.
There was never a tumor.
It was never there.
So that was part of the Nogitsune.
Yeah, it was tricking him.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I figured, but just to be clear. All right.
Those people are fearless, too, because if I would have opened the door to a school like that and I would have walked into Japan and it was snowing, I would have turned around and walked right out. I mean, like, seriously, like, they open the door and it's, like, Japan and snowing inside. No, I wouldn't be walking around. I'd be like, it is time to go. I will do this out there. I hate when they walk like that. Like, they creep, like, you could tell the video, I don't know if they sped it up or what, to make it creepy the way he was walking. I'm like, oh, I can't look at that. It's creepy.
Yeah, that is always creepy when they do stuff like that. It's just, yeah, the guy that like voiced the Nogitsune, I think did a really good job too, because that was freaking creepy. It was creepy.
You know, Styles passed out, and I'd have been mad too if I woke up and I was Styles. I was like, I was leaning on you and you let me fall and hit the ground. Like, everybody was standing there and he goes, boop, and hits the ground. I'm like, nobody even caught him.
And it kind of sucks that like Styles was still like in the background, like not really helping. He was weak. That's probably one reason when Kira and Scott were fighting. I'm like, God. I mean, Styles, don't you fight a little bit? Just a little? But Lydia kind of has a habit of staying on the side, too, so usually when... And he needs to learn how to fight.
She does.
For real. Basic defensive skills. Kira, you need to get on it. And not only that, I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get to see more of Kira's development of her powers. Yeah, she swung a sword, but maybe they'll develop that more in season 4, because I felt like her story and the Nagitsune and Styles were kind of like meshed into one, and I don't think they focused on Kira as much as they should have.
Well, they have time because they lost 3 characters, and they're gaining 3. So
yeah, really. Although I am hoping that we see that deputy that's been on the season, Deputy Parrish. I was worried too that he was going to get killed. I'm like, dang, damn it, you're going to kill the deputy too? Is there any?
And is there anybody left alive in that hospital other than Scott's mom?
I mean,
they've killed every doctor. And then they go and do that just after they restaff the place.
I know.
Right?
Every season they wipe out the hospital. At this point, it's safer to stay home and stitch yourself up.
it really is.
Or just go to Deaton's place, his like animal/human clinic.
When the vet is the best medical care in town, you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Supernatural, human, and animal clinic. There you go. And now apparently he's got some wood carving skills or something, because he made that container. Maybe it was a little bit of magic on his part. I don't know. The same kind of container that was used to contain Derek's mom's nails, and now the flies in it. I thought for sure that Daddy Argent Isaac was going to let that fly out and just squash it.
I don't think they can. I think it's just too powerful.
That sucks.
Go ahead.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, how Danny knew the whole time there were werewolves in Beacon Hills.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was like, I love it.
Yep,
now can you become one too?
He was not as clueless as everybody assumed he was. I wonder how many other people know.
Why do you think he's not cool now?
No, he said it clueless.
Clueless. I was like, wait, what? Cool? Clue? What?
He knew what was going on the whole time, which is interesting.
Well, yeah, it makes you wonder what else he knows, and who else is going to know that he knows. I mean, Ethan is the only one that knows, and is he going to tell anybody? Probably not, because he's just going to bounce and just leave everybody hanging.
Is he coming back for season 4?
I think both of them have left the show, but maybe hopefully he'll come back at least as a guest star, and you're going to be happy, Kim, because Isaac's not coming back in season 4.
What?
Yeah. According to, I just read an article.
Well, he did take off with his bags.
Yeah, the Hypeably.com. Teen Wolf season 4 will not include fan favorite character. Yep, that's Isaac. And yeah, he decided to leave. He told Jeff, but he didn't want to kill off his character. So I mean, he is probably gonna guest star at some point if he's able to, but he wanted to branch out and do different things. Same thing with Allison. Or Crystal Reed, she wanted to go out and do different things.
As soon as I saw that episode where Allison died, I actually looked up if she was leaving the show or not. And it was really disappointing when she said that she was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she is older, and he is older too. Like, they're probably, that's the thing, and this is what ticks me off about people who like want to leave shows, because they're like, no, it's real, like the show's real popular now, so I'm gonna leave because I can do other things, like the OC. That girl did it in the OC, and we never saw her again. I'm like, don't leave popular shows. Just appreciate what you have, because not everybody can be George Clooney, like, and leave ER and then go out and be like a freaking star. Like, a lot of times it doesn't happen, so I get annoyed when that happens, because that happens a lot. Like, Matt Smith, but whatever. Bitter. Yeah. So, I get annoyed when that happens, because I think they had a really good thing going, and now we've lost 1, 2, I don't care about Isaac. So, 2, but it's like we just lost like half the cast.
Yeah. Yeah. So we lost Allison, Aiden, and Isaac. They won't be returning. So he did the article didn't mention Ethan, but that doesn't mean that he will be back either, or at least not for sure.
They didn't kill off his character.
Yeah. But Malia Tate will be a season 4 regular, while Meredith and Brayden will both be appearing as well. So Meredith is actually going to make appearances in season 4. They have to, because her and Lydia have to talk and compare brownie points, or compare Banji points or whatever.
Did you just spray a cat?
Yeah, he was scratching.
Oh, that's cute. No, I just can't believe that they're cast. What show has a cast turnover besides Game of Thrones like that?
I mean,
Heroes?
yeah, like they're bringing in, I think, 2 more characters that are supposed to be lacrosse players, and one of them is supposed to be like openly gay, like I care, but yay. Just that it's a new character, yay. We'll see what they do, and if they have any supernatural abilities. That's probably, I care about that more than.
Well, they have to replace 2 guys, and because I was like looking at this and I'm like, it's slowly becoming all women.
You know what? That's not a bad thing. You know what? They keep on killing women.
Characters.
You know what? They keep on killing women on the show, though. A lot of the guys are alive, but a lot of the female characters are dead. What's up with that?
Well, no, I mean, they just killed 2 guys and a girl, and they replaced them with 2 women, and I'm like, all right, throw another guy on there. What? Somebody's like, because Peter's not reliable at all. He's
Although I do love his lines, though. He's just so snarky, and he's just hilarious.
It's like they grab him when they can get him, and he's off making movies or something. I don't know. Like, I don't know what his character is.
And hopefully we'll see the counselor again. I mean, really.
I love her.
She's awesome, but it's just like, okay, I'm going to appear and then disappear again. She's off making movies, too. I don't know what's happening with that. I like the vet. Like, I like them in general. I want to know more about them because they're something. They're not just regular humans.
I mean, every season it seems like, yeah, they're emissaries, but at the same time, like, we learn more about Dean, like, over the course of the seasons. Like, we didn't hardly know anything about Deaton in season 1. And then we learned just a little bit more in season 2. In season 3A, we found out that he was an emissary, and he has several abilities. And now in season 3B, we found out a little bit more. Like, he knows about a little bit about the Nagitsune and how that works, just a little bit. And he was able to, like, poison him with the Kanama venom.
And he can carve wood.
And he can carve wood.
But see, I just don't know what. So he's an emissary, but like, I don't feel like I know enough about what that is. I mean, what they gave us with DeKalin and the whole storyline, but I feel like it wasn't really in depth or anything. So I just kind of want to know more.
Yeah, he's there as an advisory capacity, and if he can help out with his little concoctions and vials and medicine and stuff and Mountain Ash, great.
I do like how they made season 2 so relevant to the show. With the Kanama venom and all that other stuff.
Yes. It was a throwback, and it's like, yeah, that was
smart to keep that stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, how did he get the Kanama venom again? And now it's like, now I need to watch season 2 just to figure out how did he get that again?
Yeah, that was a good throwback. Yay! Oh, but then I miss Colton Haynes.
But he's on Arrow now.
He's on Arrow. He's on there every week. It's like It's like if Roy wasn't such like a major character, especially apparently he's based off of a major character in the comics. It's like, can you just guest star on Teen Wolf or something? Just a cameo every once in a while.
Yeah, because they need
They didn't
people.
they didn't kill his character off either. He's in
No,
London.
he's in London.
Yeah,
um,
they need people because they lost after cast.
yeah, and well, I mean, they're going to do the same thing with Isaac, at least according to the article that I quoted earlier. Apparently, Isaac is supposed to be in France, grieving over the loss of Allison, with Daddy Argent, and apparently Daddy Argent's going to have to come back at some point because he's going to have to deal with his sister.
Wait, so Argent's not going to be in season 4?
No, he's going to initially be like off screen, but eventually he'll come back. At least that's what I got from the article. In order to explain why Isaac's not there, he's traveling with Daddy Argent, and then Argent's going to come back just without Isaac.
Why France? Why did people just want to run to? Didn't they run to France last time? It's like, why?
Colton is in London. He ran to London.
Yeah, but didn't Allison like get away for the summer, away from Scott, and went to France or something?
Is Argent French?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
In silver.
You guys are awesome. You are. Silver.
I have to remember this stuff.
I feel bad for not remembering it.
Yeah. So, what did you think of the Japanese mythology of the Nogitsune, the Kitsune, and the Oni and all that mythology, foxtail, and all that stuff for this season?
I thought it was very interesting. It was, I guess, like what they did for season 2. It was something different other than what they did for season 3A, which was just all werewolves. It's good to go throw something different in there every once in a while.
Yeah, we got another creature in the mix, or a supernatural animal in the mix. So we have a fox, we have a coyote as well, where coyotes exist. Like Kim said, well, you got the short end of the stick on that one, but
and how does that happen?
And now we have a she-wolf.
That doesn't make any sense. Okay, how does that happen? Peter is a wolf, mind you. In a coyote. Why would you have a daughter that's a coyote? If you were I don't understand.
What was the mother?
What was the mother?
Yeah, we don't know what the mother was.
I was assuming that the mother was human just because she would have been able to. She would have known her daughter was going to turn like that while she was driving. If she wasn't, you know what I mean? She would have been prepared for it. I would have thought.
Unless she was going to her family to help prepare her for that, and it was too late.
But I don't know.
We'll know in season 4.
Oh, I guess we will, but.
Well, that'll be an interesting reunion, that's for sure. Daddy and Malia. And she's in high school, but what kind of education did she get beforehand? She's like coyote the entire time.
We're doing it by age, I think.
Yeah.
Gotta get her with the other characters.
I know. I'm just being technical. And there were some people that were a little bit bothered by the fact that she totally made out with Styles and is like, where is she mentally as far as
age-wise? Yeah.
Yeah, just because it's all right, you're a teenager, but you've been living as a coyote for a good little while. Now maybe you managed to somehow educate yourself. I mean, because she wasn't able to turn back because she was in that form for so long. So how was she still able to mentally develop?
Do not turn Styles into that person.
No, I'm not trying. I'm not trying to, but it's more of a technicality than anything else.
Well, she was with her dad for a while before she got sent to the asylum, so he probably just I guess helped her regress back. But she was really bitter when she's like, "I'm human again, thanks."
Yeah, they're right. She was like, "I was fine as a coyote." But then Styles like, "Look, you can turn back and forth. You don't have to." And what's cool with her is she can completely turn into a coyote. It's not like she can, or maybe she can if she wants to, but turn halfway like Scott and Derek and most of the other werewolves. She has them up on that. I mean, she has them up on that one.
Yeah, but she's also like a coyote, which is not much bigger than a dog. It's the same size of a dog, so like, it's just
So, do we know what Scott's alpha power is? Since
That's what I've been wondering. When did he get his
most
power? All the other
We're
alphas
still
have some
learning.
kind of superpower, and he's just himself so far.
I mean, we haven't had it really developed other than what the situation requires for him to help his cause. Otherwise, we do not see him having lessons. And it was just funny how his father was like, "Oh, your grades are fine in school." I'm like, when has he been in school? When has any of them been in school this season?
Coach is covering for everybody.
Yeah,
He's on the
Right.
team. He's already told Malia he's going to make everything right for her.
yeah, I mean, really. And maybe they just have, and we just haven't really been seeing it. And I'm really confused as to what grade they are at this point. I'm assuming they're juniors, and next year they're going to be seniors, or next season they're going to be seniors. I don't know.
You know, I want to go back to the secret that I guess the mom had, and when they revealed it, I was like, oh, that's not that big of a secret. That was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
I really thought it was going to be something else.
what are we talking about? Are we talking about the fact that she was like a fox, or
No,
that sounded weird?
When Melissa McCall had the secret,
Oh, Melissa. Okay, so I don't know
Neil's
why I jumped to
secret
Kira's mom.
was the secret was like totally like not even relevant at all, really.
Well,
Cause
I always thought that, I don't know, for whatever reason, I never thought of it as a mom's secret. I thought of it as something that the dad did to get thrown out of the house. And so I automatically assumed he was either cheating on it, like he was cheating on her, but no, he like was a drunk and his kid fell down the stairs as a result of it, and that is kind of lame, but that's
It was
something that would
really
cause.
lame.
Well, but I mean that is a reason why any woman would throw a guy out of the house. I mean, it makes
I would hope
sense.
so. Well, yeah, and apparently Styles overheard as a little kid because Melissa talked to Sheriff Zelensky about it. But at the same time, it just shows a little bit the Nagitsune's weakness, so to speak, because he doesn't really know Styles as well as he thinks he does, because he also used as an illusion for Scott, especially, him and Allison making out when they weren't even together anymore. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting too.
Well, what I was thinking the secret was that the reason that Melissa McCall was talking to the sheriff in the first place is that she was having an affair with him. And that was part
That's
of
what I thought it was too. And I was like, so Styles and Scott are brothers? That's what I thought the secret was.
I didn't, because I think Styles would be acting different. Like I just didn't think he would ever sit on something like that.
No, I don't think he would either.
And so I don't know what I thought it was, but I guess it didn't really, like, I wasn't really waiting for it, because I'm like, oh, whatever, this is just why he's no longer in the house anymore, and he's a tool anyway, so who cares? But he's probably going to be a regular because they have the spot open. They have a spot open.
Yeah, well, they need another parent in the mix. You know how that goes. And just, yeah, it was just interesting how, in the season finale, how, when Sheriff Parrish started shooting, he was right next to the picture of the Oni, and they were like mocking, Mr. McCall about it earlier in the season, and now they're like shooting the Oni. That was the same description. Yeah, talk about irony.
Well, as a whole, guys, what did you think about the season, and what are you looking forward to for next season?
Antonio can go first.
Yeah.
Chris.
Okay. I really liked the season as a whole. I liked all the different stuff that they showed. For next season, I'm excited to see more of Kira and Scott because, they say foxes and wolves can't, be together. So I'm interested to see where that goes. I want to hopefully see more of Peter and Derek and with the whole Kate Argent thing, and I guess I want to know how Kate Argent's going to respond to Allison being dead, and if they bring Gerard back, I want to know how he responds to Kate being alive and a werewolf, since he wanted to be one too by the end of season 2 to get rid of his cancer.
Yeah, they have to bring Granddaddy Argent into it now.
Oh, and Scott developing his alpha powers.
Antonio has quite a list. So June, hopefully at least some of those get answered for you. I don't know, Chris. What about you?
I'm looking forward. I think they need to get into more of the Argent family tree. And did the other Argents that have kind of been keeping secrets from Daddy Argent, did they know that his sister was alive this whole time?
It just seems like when they were saying that they were looking for the she-wolf, it didn't seem like they knew who that was exactly. Unless they had their suspicions and they just didn't want to say for sure until they found her. I don't know.
Okay.
It feels like the Argents are working globally and we never see that. It's just like they pop in every now and then, talk about what they're doing elsewhere, and we never see any of that. I'd like to see that brought into the mythology of the show more.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, we gotta. Yeah, because we were gonna miss Allison, so they have to keep the Argents into play here. They can't just sit them on the totem pole and just be like, you're there, but you're not really.
What about you? What about you, Natasha?
I like this season as a whole. Again, I did have problems with the amount of time focused on the different situations. There were situations that could have had more of a meatier storyline, but I think it was, again, set aside for the main story, which was Styles and the Nagitsune, or, being evil Styles. But Dylan O'Brien killed it. I mean, the actors, I think they improved each season as actors and as, characters, developing a little bit more on that. But, yeah, I'll miss, the twins and definitely Allison because she was there from the beginning, and just seeing her character grow, it's going to be hard to swallow. Season 4, I am looking forward to finding out more about Kate Argent. What exactly happened? Yeah, Peter cut her throat with the nails, and that turned her, but why is that? Why do wolves get turned that way as well as, the other different ways? And why is she that particular color? Again, her green eyes. And like Chris said, I want the Argents brought more into the fold, and Scott learning more about being an alpha, because he needs to. We want to see his powers develop. I mean, he has to be more than what he is right now.
Can I go back to what you said about, Kate Argent? Didn't they bury her?
I don't remember.
I thought they did.
And even if they did, I mean, they buried Peter.
True. And is the Nemeton going to come into play again this season, even though it's indirectly, tied into what was happening in all of season 3, not just the first part, but the second part as well?
No, they should set it on fire. You know what I like about this season is, I think it was very dark, especially the first part of it. The first part of it was creepy. Just how they were dealing with what happened to bring their parents back.
Yeah.
I mean, not that the second part wasn't creepy, because the second part was creepy, but I think Dylan O'Brien did a good job in both parts of the season. Just really killed it. I like seeing his relationship and how he played opposite his father, opposite Scott's mom, opposite Scott, because there was a lot of emotion with all three of those characters, and I kind of really enjoyed that. I want to know more about. I don't know. I want to know why her eyes are green, but still, I don't. for whatever reason, she did not look like a wolf to me. She didn't. She looked different. Kind of like, not like Jackson, but like she just looked like she was different. And I don't know if that's because she is a psychopath, kind of like Peter and maybe Deucalion, or if she took like a odd turn like Jackson did. I don't know, but she just did not look normal to me. And I hope I'm not just seeing that. I hope they kind of go into that. I want to see what's up with that, and I'd like to know why that girl is a coyote, because that gets to me. And I don't know why it gets to me, but it just gets to me.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there is going to be a triangle whatsoever between Lydia Stiles and Malia. And I also want to know more about Kira and seeing her develop her powers, because I don't think we got to see that too much at all in the season that had like part of her culture and part of her story, a part of the story.
Because her eyes are orange, right?
They're like a gold.
She was like surrounded by orange gold stuff, like she's radiant.
Yeah, like she needs to develop her powers even more. She's apparently a thunder like kitsune, and what does that exactly entail other than putting a sword together? Like I want to see her powers develop and actually see her using her powers other than sword fighting. Granted, the sword fighting is great, but I want to see more.
I want to know how she learned all that.
She said that she's been practicing, but I'm like, when has she had time to practice?
Off screen.
Off screen, yeah. And I'm hoping that her relationship with her mom gets a little bit better. And I want to know what happens to her mom now. Like, is it going to take her like a really long time to grow tails back, so to speak, so then she'll be a little bit more powerful again? Like, what's going to happen with that?
Those are all very good questions. I mean, thank goodness we don't have to wait that long, because it comes back in June. So
it
yay
seems like
for
a long
that.
time, but it'll be here before you know it.
Exactly.
And it'll be Comic-Con. What? Okay.
All right, guys, we got to wrap up because we've been going for a while. So I'm just going to go down the line. You guys let everybody know where they can find you on Twitter. We'll start with Antonio.
You can find me at AntonioJ31 on Twitter.
Chris?
It's down there, Hooligan10.
Yeah. Natasha?
At Willcat12 and also at the Nerd Element.
Right, and you can find me at the Nerd Element or at Anime23. Thank you for joining us, guys, for the TV Talk Teen Wolf special, discussing the Teen Wolf finale. Can't wait till the new season. I want to thank Antonio. I want to thank you, Chris. As always, Natasha, best co-host ever.
I try.
And we will see you all, guys, coming up next week. Bye.
Right, bye.
Bye.